Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. As I promised, today we are going to be breaking down this basket configuration for all 12 signs. So I hope this will help. I'm going to give you a few scenarios to each rising sign, how this might be playing out in your life. Remember, you're going to have to be looking at what planet gets triggered in your natal chart. I use Western whole sign astrology in case you are wondering. My name is AstroViktor if you are new to my channel, and it would be much appreciated if you liked, shared the video, as well as you have subscribed. That would be very cool. So do it right now before you forget. And let's break it down for each rising signs. I think this is the aspect pattern of the decade. And also don't forget that what we are going to be talking about today is not a weak configuration, okay? So this is going to last up to about 4 years. So therefore, this is going to be very much of a life-changing event, not only on a global level, but on a personal level as well. So do let me know in the chat box below if you guys have got any planets on 4-degree, 3 to 5-degree to be precise. I wouldn't go further than 5-degree because next year we are going to be having activations around 6-7 degree as well. So this year is just the 4th and the 5th degree and the 3rd degree that is super active. So remember, we've got Neptune in the sign of Aries, Uranus in the sign of Gemini, Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, and Jupiter joined the club as well in the sign of Leo. So let's get started. Aries rising sign. And if someone would be nice just to maybe make a comment if you are here that Aries is going to start on 2 minutes and 7 seconds would be lovely. But if you can't do that, I'm going to do that later on. So Aries rising sign, this basket configuration is a bit of a personal reinvention and certain type of intellectual upgrades and a massive shift in who you allow into your inner circle. Now, with Jupiter in the 5th house, triggering this dynamic, very kind of personal creativity and visibility are going to be the fuel igniting the whole layout of this basket configuration. So maybe you have been spending months or even years working on a project. Let it be a course, for example, or your artistic portfolio and so forth. And then suddenly you get this flash of genius inside to change up the way you want to deliver it to your clients or to your audience. Maybe you switch to a more decentralized platform, for example, or you're launching a bold new marketing campaign, or you use an unconventional kind of edgy communication style to get ahead in life. Now, the good news is because this is a nice configuration, so the message can land quite perfectly because your 5th house, which is your creative self-expression, can seamlessly link with your 3rd house, the house of media and immediate communication. Maybe a single piece of content or a video or presentation kind of goes viral, for example, or you instantly find a massive, highly engaged audience, for example, that connects directly with your authentic voice. Because Jupiter would like you to find your voice. The 3rd house would like you to be able to sell your voice, while Pluto in your 11th house is all about reaching a wide circle of audience, while Neptune would like you to have a spiritual courage. But I can also imagine that you step into something bold, a more visible new version of yourself, completely trusting your vision, and you're kind of like being called upon to lead, even if it feels a little bit out of your element right now. And instead of having the feeling of being rejected, you should be feeling more powerful, forward thinking, being part of forward thinking groups, for example, organizations, This could be a brilliant time for you to become an entrepreneur, for example. Also, this might be that you want to be more social, and then you are putting yourself out there, and you are going to be potentially meeting really creative people. Maybe you are becoming an exclusive member of a network, a professional alliance, something that might be kind of like possessing this systematic leverage, which you can actually not necessarily make a fortune, but it can kind of grant you some type of luck later on. And maybe these people are going to start validating you, validating your ideas, and they might be able to give you the logistical or structural backing that you need to take your, let's say, personal brand to a bigger, a global level. Like every single aspect patterns, it comes with challenges as well. So one of the challenges, Jupiter in the 5th house, while Pluto is in the 11th house. So while Jupiter would like to launch a creative project and it wants you to voice your strong opinion or take the center stage into your professional life with a lot of enthusiasm, right? And I'm expecting kind of like a total applause for it. But maybe you are actually hitting a wall of friction, a pushback from a community, a friend of yours, online networks, a group of peers. So therefore, a powerful kind of collective entity or even algorithm can force you kind of like confrontations into your life, and your fears can switch on. Is it okay to step on the stage, on that creative stage? Is your creative drive serving the greater good, for example, or is it just kind of like an empty ego trip that I'm going down on? So you can have a lot of doubts with that. But also because it feels like that your mind is racing at a million miles an hour with a lot of new ideas, incoming messages, contracts, and maybe a frantic kind of daily schedule of learning or teaching can be part of it as well. And at the same time, your physical body and identity can feel kind of exhausted, ungrounded. So while you're trying to execute an idea, let it be, let's say, a complex piece of writing or a creative project, right? You keep spacing out, losing your keys, for example, experiencing kind of brain fogs, and that tension can manifest as a daily life disconnect. So your intellect is living in this high voltage kind of future while your physical self feels completely overwhelmed, exhausted, um, and that could lead to anxiety about where you can actually sustain the momentum on a day-to-day level. So let's move on to Taurus rising sign. So Taurus is going to start on 8:06. And Uranus is running through your second house, while Neptune is running through your 12th house. So I can imagine that you have been quietly, let's say, working on an intuitive kind of creative, maybe a psychological kind of project behind the scenes. Maybe completely you have been like completely out of the public eye. And then you get this impulse to monetize an unconventional, cutting edge, maybe financial model or a digital platform, for example, or your spiritual gifts as well. So something is abstract here. A behind the scene type of vision can translate into a major upgrade to your kind of personal bank account, right? And maybe you are discovering new ways of generating income based on your unique talents, for example. You are shifting your financial reality overnight. You become more creative when it comes to earning money. Now, while Jupiter is in your 4th house, Pluto is in your 10th house, right? So I can imagine that you decide that you want to be investing a little bit more into your private life, for example. So you are going to be upgrading your home environment. You are welcoming a new member into your family. You are kind of like restructuring your domestic setup. And finally, you start being or feeling emotionally aligned, more secure where you live, or you are being more hopeful that things are going to turn out better. Maybe this is about you receiving a lot of support, for example, or imagine this kind of like as an energetic springboard. When you get a bit of like a backwind, right? Especially the support from your loved ones or people that you live together with, then you feel a lot more motivated. And hopefully, you are going to be able to anchor your private life, and you then suddenly receive even a major professional breakthrough, a promotion, potentially a massive shift in your public status, maybe a powerful authority figure, or even a corporate entity recognizes your strength in a way and then starts elevating your position in the world, which of course would lead to the ability to generate more income. Remember, every configuration has got negative sides as well. So that Jupiter and Pluto opposition could represent that you are trying to enjoy your home environment, or you are trying to, welcome a new member into your family. You are focusing on that inner peace, but your professional life is undergoing quite a relentless kind of structural overhaul. A new boss comes in and then they don't want to be granting you from working from home, for example, and so forth. So this could represent a clash between your uh, uh, domestic desires and your professional obligations, like a demanding boss, right? A heavy corporate shift, a massive public project threatens to completely swallow up your personal time. And you feel caught in a kind of like a high pressure squeeze. So, do I stay home and anchor my personal life, or do you answer this intense kind of top-down demands of your career? Also, this could represent with Uranus in the second and Neptune in the 12th, kind of like a subconscious escapism or certain type of financial volatility as well. While your income or your financial life experiences a sudden kind of shake up, but there could be a lot of unexpected expenses popping up as well. The 12th house is unexpected expenses, actually. And that the regular stream of revenue starts kind of like fluctuating, for example, maybe due to the changing market. And then you have to be going, like, you have to be upgrading yourself. You have to start thinking about what other ways I can generate income as well. So you seem to be tackling some financial data head on, but there is an anxiety possibility there. And with Neptune in the 12, we can really get that overwhelm and escapism. It's like a deep wave of like fluctuations. So you might find yourself completely ignoring your bank account, for example, spacing out on major administrative tasks, or experiencing this unnameable fear about the material survival that makes you want to tune out a little bit, tune out the world entirely rather than dealing with the physical reality. So just watch out for that. Let's see Gemini rising sign. So it's going to start on 1335 in case someone can take a note of that. But this entire basket configuration for Gemini is very personal on one hand. It feels intellectual. It is triggering mainly your visible houses as well. Because Uranus currently is moving through your first house, you are embodying of that sudden radical change that everyone else is only talking about. You are actually feeling it right on your own skin. With Jupiter triggering this setup from your third house, it's about brilliant idea, brilliant conversation, a new way of communicating. It's a spark. And then it's setting off this entire whole dynamic, right? So with Uranus in the first and Jupiter in the third, maybe you decide to kind of throw out this old conventional way of presenting yourself, and you undergo this upgrade in your personal style, your look, how you express your identity on a daily basis, while simultaneously maybe you decide that I'm going to be launching a new podcast, a video channel, anything that is a little bit more of a digital project, really. So your intellect, your physical presence somehow meant to be syncing up perfectly right now. So the way you speak, teach, or share information could feel like fresh or more electric. So this is about motivating you that, you know what, I'm calling the shots. I am powerful and I can sell whatever I want. And I'm going to be selling my brand. I'm going to be selling myself in a way. And people are going to start being drawn to that new kind of raw authenticity, that quick wit as well. And that can allow you to rapidly grow your even local, your digital community, for example, and people can start treating you more like an innovative voice in your field. It feels like you have got a message to share, right? So Jupiter is in the third, while Pluto is in your ninth house. So it's about taking a simple, kind of practical concept or a lesson or an idea, something that you have been researching for a while or maybe teaching locally or online. And it's about elevation. It's about, if I have been teaching, for example, locally, then how can I make it global, right? That's Pluto in the ninth sign. So this is asking you to stop playing small with your immediate ideas and then connect them to a much broader kind of find that universal truth. So your everyday message now is reaching more of an international audience in a way. And these are publishing houses as well, or foreign institutions, or global platforms. The bottom line is that you can get noticed for your work. You can get a system. You are given a system to broadcast your opinion worldwide in a way. Now, every single configuration comes with a negative side as well, right? So what we need to be mindful is that we can speak our mind very passionately, for example, on a public platform. We can share our opinion. We can be facing, unfortunately, very rigid, intense, or you can even get into a legal battle as well. I mean, imagine a powerful institution is going to tell you that you have stolen something from them, right? Or an academic group. Or anything that is dogmatic, right? And then you can feel like that you are being shut down. Your message cannot come across. So therefore, you just need to be embracing this like authority energies around you. And therefore, you can get caught in a high stress kind of intellectual power struggles where you must defend your voice, your opinion. Somehow there is this top-down system of belief, and then you might feel suffocated because people want you to kind of follow their dogma. And I can also imagine that you are changing so fast on a personal level that because your nervous system is running so hot with new ideas right now that your old social circles and communities, for example, maybe start distancing themselves from you, or you might feel unaligned with certain people in your life and you want to walk out of those. So there could be a sense of isolation, a bit of a boundary confusion within friendships or networks as well. It's like you look at, these old peers or communities that you used to be part of, and then you feel kind of foggy disconnect with them. You feel like you are an alien in your own social life. And it can leave you overwhelmed, and then because you are evolving and, sometimes people are not evolving right next to you. So you feel like that I have to be walking away from it. Let's move on to Cancer rising sign. That's going to be 1935, in case someone can pop it into the chat box, 1935. But for Cancer rising sign, This basket configuration is going to be focusing a lot on your finances, shared resources, your public career, but also a lot of psychological clearing as well. Remember, Jupiter is triggering this basket configuration from your second house, which is your income, self-worth, material security. So surely it's going to be all about having to upgrade our financial attitude a little bit. And it feels like you're going to have to be able to believe that I've got all the talents that I need to generate income and to put myself out there. Now, Uranus is in your 12th house while Jupiter is in your second house, right? So this is a genius combo. This is a genius breakthrough, an intuitive realization. I don't know why you are resting or working in isolation or sleeping or even reflecting on past business strategies, for example, reflecting on your past. And you decide to kind of package this hidden insight into a physical offer, a product, a service that you can give to others. It feels like there is an idea that is born out of solitude, a lot of deep psychological reflection, and that could be expanding your personal revenue. Of course, this is also about generating income out of spiritual topics, out of healing, basically. So the key factor here is that you have to be trusting your private instincts rather than just trying to do everything in a traditional way. You are meant to be unlocking this completely new, kind of highly lucrative stream of income that honors your need for personal autonomy. It really feels like that you are meant to be following your dreams right now rather than just getting stuck, for example, in that 9 to 5 job that you hate. Now, this could also talk to us about that you are rebuilding your financial legacy or you're ready to kind of clear your debts. So we've got Jupiter in the second while Pluto is in the 8th house, right? So I am going to be in control of my own money, of my own earning potentials. And I'm going to set up a price point, for example, and I'm going to be kind of like backing my financial worth, with a lot of confidence because Jupiter is trying to increase your confidence level. And also, it's kind of like realizing your financial power. And by increasing your financial power, you are kind of like resolving heavy long-term debts as well, or you're renegotiating shared financial agreements, debts, uh, maybe you leveraging on external capital investments, but you have to be doing that on your own terms. It feels like that this is an opportunity for you to break free from toxic financial dependencies, like all joint liabilities, for example, and then I'm going to be stepping into a material independence. Now, like every configuration, this comes with some negatives as well. Oh, sugar. I managed to knock over my coffee. Lovely. It was just a little bit, no problem. So every constellation comes with a bit of a negative too. So, when you are pursuing, for example, an incredibly kind of lofty, inspiring vision, because you want to be building up your reputation. But your subconscious mind, your nervous system are kind of very overstimulated by hidden anxieties or even rest problems as well. So it's like you're trying to push so hard because you are ambitious, because you want to get your professional goals moving forward. But those erratic sleep patterns, sudden anxiety spikes, mood swings, unaddressed psychological kind of fatigue forces a pause. So it's the realization that you cannot build kind of like a glowing public reputation if you are secretly burning yourself out, kind of like behind closed doors. But I can also imagine that you may make a major move to build, your personal wealth. Maybe you buy a significant asset, or you raise your fees, or you even quit your job. And then you hit this intense friction, for example, with a business partner or a bank or an investor or any type of tax or legal entities. So you can get pulled into this financial tug of war over who holds the ultimate, financial control. Simply, this could be a deep-seated fear of material loss or power struggles, forcing you to confront how much control you have handed over to, you know, financial institutions or partners versus standing on your own 2 feet. So that would be a Cancer rising sign. So let's move on to Leo rising sign, and that would start on 25-29, please, if someone can put that into the chat box. But this is massive. Jupiter is in your first house, so you are kind of like the central driver of this entire basket configuration, right? So it's about trying to increase your vitality, wanting you to launch your personal brand. It wants you to be super confident, very radiant. But because Jupiter opposes Pluto in your seventh house, your relationships or your public dynamics are kind of undergoing a total transformation. I mean, imagine that something starts really well for you in your personal life, and then all of a sudden there are a lot of changes happening in your partner's life. And maybe that is going to be forcing you to relocate, for example, or to kind of take a back seat as well. But the very positive manifestations is really about creating a high profile. It's about career expansion, really. I mean, with Jupiter in your first house, Uranus in your 11th house. So this is entering into this new phase of your life, and then you put a project of yours online, for example. You should be ready stepping on a stage, upgrading your personal image, and then you use this modern cutting edge kind of media tools to show the world your talent, to kind of broadcast your work. And what's really good about it is that you have got a lot of charisma right now. So it can catch fire across, friends and online platforms and so forth. So you can, let's say if you're a YouTuber, you can get these new followers, you can get allies, for example. Associations can reach out to you because they love your personal brand. So somehow you are being seen. Somehow you are becoming influential. You're becoming a focal point, let's say, for your friends, for your community, and so forth. Now, Jupiter is in your first, Pluto is in your seventh, right? So I think it's all about you having to stop underestimating your worth, and you have to be presenting yourself a lot stronger. When it comes to, let's say, business deals or client consultations. Now, this could indicate, for example, that some of you might be going through some type of relationship changes, and then you don't want to be tolerating anymore the manipulation coming from a contractual agreement, from a partner, from a business partner. And Jupiter in the first house is giving you the strength to break out of that potentially stale type of connection. However, positively, it could indicate a highly influential partner, someone from the elite who can step forward, maybe with an agreement. So they want to make an agreement with you, right? But it's very important that you are going to be standing firm in your own sovereignty, because Jupiter is in your first house. So you can be renegotiating the balance of power in your close relationships, but I want to do that on my own terms. Every configuration comes with some negative sides as well. So, Jupiter in the first wants you to claim the spotlight. It wants you to make a big personal decision. It wants you to expand your kind of individual platform, right? But the seventh house is rivalry. So we hit this wall of pushbacks, jealousy, even control tactics from a primary partner, a spouse, a business associate, and so forth. So there is this deep power dynamics starts coming to light. So you start thinking about whether these people support your growth, or are they threatened by your light, But you are getting forced into a confrontation where you must hold your boundary without letting the relationship kind of devolve into a toxic battle. Because something is about dominance here. So someone is trying to dim your light, someone is trying to tell you what to do, how to suck an egg, and so forth. Now, the other thing with Jupiter in your first and then with Neptune in your ninth, then that you are driven right now, well, in the next 4 years, really, by this inspiration, this faith, this vision for your future. And therefore, you might decide that, oh, I need to study something, I'm going to be teaching something, I'm going to be launching an international offer. You have got this huge vision and you can feel super optimistic about it. But the danger of Neptune and Jupiter is that the vision can get so large, so idealized, that the physical reality or the personal kind of daily bandwidth, can't keep up. So therefore, watch out for over-promising, overextending yourself, falling into an ideological illusion, because that could make you exhausted, and also it can make you question your long-term directions as well. So there's a lot of possible hesitation happening with that too. Let's go for Virgo rising sign, which starts on 31/25. In case someone can drop that into the chat box, that would be lovely. But this basket configuration for Virgo rising sign is a lot of psychological behind the scene work, it feels like. But it also triggers your shared resources and your daily work environment. Now, Jupiter is running through your 12th house. And a lot of your power right now is generated out of public view. So through a private strategy or deep clearing, cleansing, it's a lot of preparation here, which then transforms your health, your routine, even the systems that you have created in your life. So this year feels like that you are meant to be kind of like working behind the scenes so that we can achieve a career success. Where is career success comes from? Uranus in your 10th sign. And Jupiter in the 12 is about that large plan needs to be worked through. It needs to be planned out. So it's a bit spending quiet, kind of uninterrupted time developing a complex project, I don't know, writing up a manuscript, for example, creating an operational system. And then with Uranus, we are going to be implementing this cutting edge, maybe digital approach or an unconventional delivery method, because I am meant to be presenting it to the world, right? That's the 10th house. So we have got an idea developing in isolation, and it can lead to a major leap in your career. It can boost your reputation as well. One traditional rule that I would like to mention to you is because when a planet is triggering the midheaven within 3 degrees from the 12th house, it is considered as a career planet. And the 12th house meanings kind of disappear. Okay, so therefore we are not coming up with the challenging part of the 12th house as much anymore, but it's more of a natal chart rule. But I wanted to share that with you because, for example, I do have this configuration. So my sun is on almost 17 degrees of Aquarius, and then my midheaven is on 19 degrees of Aquarius. Although I love being alone, as in I don't like when my peace is getting disrupted, but I don't experience the lethargy or all this type of stuff with that sun in the 12th house. So I look at the sun as a career planet in my chart, which obviously sometimes you need a lot of prep work for it, right? So I teach 3 times a week. So I have to be doing a lot of prep work. I'm trying to make 3 videos a week as well, minimum. So that needs prep work as well. So that's why I have to be spending a bit of time alone. But, in the evening, maybe a friend of mine comes over and then we have a glass of wine or, so I'm still living an active life. I just wanted to give you that rule because we don't always have to look at the 12 house planets as a really kind of terrible placement, okay? But where was I? And therefore, let me just promote myself again, but, all these prep works, teaching 3 times a week videos, deserves a like and a comment and a share and all those lovely things. So don't forget to do that. But back to Virgo. So you are working behind the scene to boost your recognition or your professional life, right? So this could be talking to us about that you are getting ready promoted, for example. You are being noticed that you have done a great kind of back-end work as well. Now, also, this is a brilliant time for you, Virgo, to kind of shift your healthy lifestyle a little bit around. I think it's time to listen to your body very deeply and then stepping back from toxic workplace stress and invest time in your deep physical as well as psychological healing. Okay? So it's an internal realignment that gives you the strength needed to eliminate any type of bad habits, toxic work environments. It's about kind of sorting out your daily schedule as well, especially if it has been super messy. So let's rebuild the day-to-day workflow. Let's make your life more efficient, master this new high value skill, and it's about reclaiming your physical vitality. Now, the challenging manifestation of this, because every configuration has got challenges, right? So while Jupiter is trying to retreat a little bit, which is not an easy job when you've got Leo on the 12th house cusp, and not easy with Jupiter either. So I'm not gonna lie, Jupiter is a very outgoing planet, and Leo wants to be in the center of attention. So I tend to feel a bit sorry for Virgo people, especially with 12 house planets in Leo, because it's not that easy. I find it one of the most challenging positions, and everyone is going to be having the most challenging part in their charts. But potentially Virgo, the 12 house planets are super challenging. So while Jupiter is teaching you that you need to be balancing out fun and retreat and rest and, having to learn a bit of like being alone as well, or the spiritual creative growth, but you have got your daily job, you've got your clients, right? You've got your physical health demands that become extremely intense and it's pressurizing you. So it's like I'm unable to rest. There is a tug of war um, between needing quiet space and handling all these chaotic daily obligations. It might be a micromanaging boss, an overwhelming work task or work schedule, where one shift is, I don't know, 10 to 6. Then next morning you work from 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then, I don't know, next day you are, I don't know, a night shift, right? So the physical body breaks down. And therefore, it could lead to physical fatigue that is forcing you to confront. So it's about, are you being in control of your daily schedule, or is your schedule kind of running you? That could be one of the major questions. Also, with Neptune in your 8th sign and Uranus in your 10th house, this could indicate that you are ready to enter a financial agreement. Maybe it's a career type of agreement, and then you are unfortunately going to be screwed over because you are being promised things and you are kind of like hopeful that this is going to get delivered, and potentially it might not be delivered to you. And this would be pretty much connected to finances, really. But yeah, so that's for you, Virgo rising sign, Libra, briefly, before we get into Libra. But also remember that I can only give you just kind of like some pointers, right? It also highly depends on your natal chart as well. Let's go down on Libra rising sign. So if someone can pop it into the chat box, 3928, that's when we're going to be starting it. So for Libra rising sign, this basket configuration is triggering your social houses a little bit. So your social networks, your identity, your creative joy, your close one-on-one relationships. So with Jupiter in your 11th house, this is about you connecting with large people, right? So large groups, important people, online audiences, influential people as well, because this is the Jupiter is the primary engine kind of driving this alignment, right? So with Jupiter in your 11th and Uranus in your ninth house, it's about you sharing a creative project, maybe a unique offer, an innovative, I don't know, teaching concept, for example. You are ready to launch a digital channel, a social media channel, to potentially some professional people. And it's about you upgrading the publishing platforms that you use so that I can reach a broader audience, broader clientele, and so forth. So you do have got a message here. You have got an unconventional message to share. But it's all about finding the right people for it. So connecting with influential people, like you want to be in an affiliation system, for example. Somehow new people, new circles can step forward to sponsor, to share, to elevate your platform, your career, and so forth. It's about you transforming a local vision into something more globally recognized. But also with Jupiter in your 11th and with Pluto in your 5th house, the positive manifestation of that is that you become bold and you are ready to take the center stage, and then you're ready to launch this bold, maybe very personal creative project of yours. It's about passion. So you are passionate, and passion drives sales, and it's all about showcasing something. So therefore it could lead to a massive breakthrough, and you can feel creatively more confident. So you step out from behind the scenes, you claim this authentic, like, let's say, artistic authority energies. It's about turning a hobby or a passion into something lucrative, into money, basically coins, right? But every configuration has got negative manifestations as well, unfortunately. So with Jupiter in the 11th and with Pluto in the 5th, while you might want to launch this creative project or you are ready to express your authentic voice, a current group of friends or a partner, for example, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, they can come and kind of try to champion it a little bit, try to kind of knock you out, really. So you can run into this uncomfortable clash with a community or a boyfriend, peers, or it's kind of like when your platform is clashing with someone else's platform and someone is trying to dictate your creative directions. So do you compromise your, let's say, artistic integrity to keep people happy? Or do you stand firm in your personal creative sovereignty? A friend of mine is actually struggling with this right now. We have spoken about this today, and she was like, I know what my audience wants to hear, but I know what my message is. And I don't want to be doing what my audience wants me to do. So it's a huge struggle for her right now whether to tap into it. Because obviously she was like, that is my bread and butter. So if I don't do what they want, then I'm not going to make money. If I do what they want, I'm going to make money, but it feels like I have sold my soul. So, yeah, this could be kind of like the opposition there as one scenario. But I think, you can get into a very idealized certain type of partnership as well, or romantic connections that might be promising a total freedom or even rapid growth in your long-term goals. And then because Neptune is in your 7th house, right? And then you might figure out that I got cheated on, I got scammed, or vague expectations or unspoken boundary issues in the relationship can cause some disruptions to your future plans. And you realize that you got somehow seduced by something idealistic or romantic or just potentials, but you haven't verified something there. Maybe the practical foundations, right? And then shared agreements are kind of like being not that solid. We have to be realizing that. So hopefully you are going to be using the positive side of those. Let's type in Scorpio rising sign 45, exactly on 45 minutes. Thank you very much. So for Scorpio rising sign, this basket configuration is really hitting the core of your chart, actually activating your career, your family, your shared financial power. So with Jupiter in your 10th house, this is about professional reputation, public standing, your career visibility. That's the focal point there, right? That is the one that is igniting this entire planetary circuit there. So therefore, it should be giving you a professional opportunity. It should allow you to step into a more visible leadership role, for example, launching that public initiatives, potentially. This could indicate that um, you get the opportunity even to walk away from a workplace and then to get a better like job opportunity, which is paying you more or giving you more freedom, right? Maybe it's about you integrating a new financial model, or you are even ready to invest as well, because we do have got Uranus in your 8th house. So investing into a bond, um, which eventually gives you the leverage, let's say in the next 4 years, to start your own business, something that is going to bring elevation in your career standing. Also, Jupiter and Pluto are opposing as well, which could become positive though. It's about you taking control of your career, and you are going to be presenting yourself kind of like as an unshakable leader in your field, and that could be leading to professional success. You know, I think it's a leverage to completely re-engineer, because that elevation in your career can give you the opportunity to make changes in your home. Maybe you can decide that, oh yeah, I would like to have a child now because my finances are way better. Or that validation that you might get at work can give you a better psychological foundation as well. Maybe you are going to be ready to buy properties, for example, you are ready to, I don't know, renovate your living room, or you are ready to even walk away from inherited family baggage that has been severing your psychological foundation. Now, every configuration has got negative possibilities as well. And with Jupiter and the Pluto opposition, this is a domestic power struggle. Imagine that you take on this, promotion, for example, or you are ready to launch this ambitious project. You are accepting this very demanding career role, hoping that this is going to be changing your life for the better. But it can create a friction at home, stress at home, because maybe let's say your husband is tired of taking care of the child, or you have got certain type of family, um, um, even death or physical, you know, like someone is physically not well, right? And then you have to be attending their needs as well. So there is potentially a bit of a burnout here. A heavy family dynamic, real estate complications could be popping up with that. But it's a confrontation. So is your public ambition pulling you away from your foundational safety, or any unresolved personal matters that are kind of threatening you professionally rising? That could be one negative scenario. Now, with Uranus in the 8th, Neptune is running through your 6th house, right? So, because Neptune in the 6th often represents chaos at work. And that's the reason why it feels like that you have to be working extremely hard to restore that chaos, which might be affecting your daily life, basically. But Neptune might be saying, because there's so much chaos going on, or I cannot focus on tasks anymore, so I need to be hiring a new help, like a help. Or you are trying to streamline your daily workflow, but you are maybe just struggling with commitment issues, or you are trying to execute this new health fitness regime, while you have to be navigating all these sudden fluctuations, for example, in finances, debts, and investments, and partner, for example, getting dismissed from work, and let's say I have to be canceling my membership. So this is about you having to plan your day-to-day operation a lot better. There could be unexpected financial complications with Uranus in your eighth sign, especially in your joint accounts or with the partner. So that would be a Scorpio rising sign. So let's move on to Sagittarius rising. That would be 50 minutes 44, in case someone can pop that into the chat box. So for the Sagittarius rising, this basket configuration is going to light up your long-term vision, but also your one-on-one relationships, your local networks, your creative heart center. So with Jupiter running through your ninth house, which is of course you, this is the ninth house is your belief system, platforms, global reach, relocation as well. This is the one that is sparking the entire configuration right now. This is the beginning, right? So sparking that 4-year window for you. So with Jupiter in the ninth and with Uranus in the seventh house, maybe you are ready to study something, you are ready to launch an international offer, you are ready to broadcast a bold perspective of yours. Maybe you are ready to team up with some unconventional people, some highly innovative partners, business collaboration, and so forth. Something that is kind of bringing something fresh to the table. And partnership acts here as a kind of massive catalyst. So their radical, quite kind of quick thinking, or quick way of like approach expands your reach overnight as well, and taking your message or offer to a far wider, kind of highly engaged audience that you could have built on your own as well. Now, this could talk to us about that you decide with your partner to relocate to a foreign country. And maybe there's going to be certain type of hesitations happening from the partner's side at first, or at least one of you might be hesitating because one might not be into this adventurous side. They need a little bit more stability. But it feels like the partner would be doing the same eventually with you as well. Or I can imagine that your partner is receiving a job opportunity somewhere outside of your living circumstances, and then it becomes a bit of a long distance relationship, or we are going to be meeting every 2 weeks, and so forth. Also, this is about you becoming an intellectual authority. So it's about you trusting that you have got an expertise, you've got great philosophies, you've got a vision here, and you don't have to back down. You can actually show that to the world. It's about being convicted that you can actually change the perspectives of others as well. You might be clearing out really old, kind of petty drama in your life. You overhaul how you communicate online or with others, that yes, I'm going to be listened to. I'm not going to allow anymore someone to kind of force their opinion on me. Maybe this is about kind of like a separation in a way from a sibling, a friend of yours, or even certain type of digital community. You don't want to be part of it anymore. However, this could really create some ideological war as well, because this is an opposition, and an opposition can be positive also, but the negative manifestation is that you are sharing your big vision, the big picture viewpoint. You are ambitious, you've got this ambitious curriculum, and you take this strong stance on a public platform, and then you can be hitting this kind of wall of friction, really. And you can feel that people start attacking you somehow, and they don't want you to speak up, or they don't let your opinion kind of come through. This could even indicate that a big contractual agreement is about to be ending. And therefore, this might be affecting your financial situations quite significantly. This could talk to you about that, let's say your sibling is going to be moving away. Especially, it's important if you feel very close to your sibling. But maybe you are going to get a lot of online critiques or criticism. And that could lead to certain type of arguments, or someone is challenging your credentials. And the question is, am I going to be ready to put on the boxing gloves? It could bring some relationship volatility as well, because Uranus is in your seventh, Neptune is in your fifth house, and you can get swept off by a romantic connection. I mean, swept off your feet, by a romantic connection, or you fall in love with this idealized kind of creative projects, or your partner starts acting in an unpredictable way, and then you don't understand what is happening. And therefore, the relationship or the project can suffer from kind of erratic shifts, commitment issues. The question is, are the ground rules clearly set? Because if not, then these could be some of the negative manifestations of those. It's like when fantasy meets a reality, a bit of a reality check. So they're forcing you to step back and separate, let's say, the true creative compatibility from that wild, kind of wishful thinking. So that would be the Sagittarius rising sign. So let's do a bit of a Capricorn, and if someone can pop it in, 5650. That would be the Capricorn. So Capricorn, this basket configuration is activating your finances, shared resources, but your daily workflow, financial foundations, as well as your personal sanctuary. Now, Jupiter is going through your eighth sign. So that's a deep financial restructuring. That's about increasing your money, basically. It's a bit of a legacy planning as well, but it does create a lot of psychological clearing. Jupiter is important in this configuration because it's the engine of the 4-year alignment that we have been, or we are going to be experiencing. So with Jupiter in the eighth and then Uranus in your sixth house, I think this might be about you deciding to overhaul your daily work routine, and you might be implementing some new software, automation. It's an unconventional workflow in your job or your business as well. It might be that you don't want to be doing what you have been doing, and then you just want to try out something new. It's about you wanting to create a more efficient life. You want to be kind of like, sometimes this is about easy money as well, or trying to find financial leverage. So this might be, the eighth house is very connected to passive income. So maybe you start something on your own, or let's say away from your partner, and then you want to be generating a bit of an extra income from you. Or maybe you are ready to go to the bank to secure, I don't know, an investment, for example, or you are streamlining your tax, debt structures. It's you focusing on your long-term wealth. So maybe you are working on financial independence as well, with Jupiter in your eighth, opposing Pluto in your second house. So it's like, okay, I'm going to be in charge of joint assets. I'm going to be renegotiating contracts. I'm going to be solving financial liabilities. And because you're doing a lot of financial clearing, it can be transforming your personal bank account and self-worth as well. So if you have got financial blockages, this could be a brilliant time for you to kind of work those through. claiming full ownership of your earnings, and then you are kind of like setting up this unshakable baseline of material security. Like, what makes me feel secure, right? But at the same time, every configuration can be coming from something negative as well. So with Jupiter and Pluto oppositions, sorry guys, but my mouth is so dry, so I'm gonna have to get a drink, otherwise I'm going to die here. But I can talk at the same time. So every configuration comes with something negative as well, right? So let's say you are trying to settle certain type of financial matters. And let's say you're trying to refinance, for example, a house of yours or assets, or it can be even talking to us about profit splits, like especially if you are going through maybe a divorce, for example, then it could bring confrontations of how we are going to be splitting the assets. Or you can get into arguments with the bank as well. So let's just watch out for those, because somehow this is a standoff in our financial, you know, like control, when the bank is kind of controlling your assets, right? Or the partner is telling you that, oh, this is how much money you can spend, and so forth. So this is a power dynamic that surfaces around money. So is this joint agreement building your personal security, or is it draining your individual earnings? And somehow this aspect pattern is telling you or forcing you to stand firm on your true value without letting fear drive, certain type of like transactions. Also, this could be a bit of a workplace friction, especially because Uranus is in your sixth sign and then Neptune is in your fourth sign. So therefore, Neptune is opposing your 10th house as well, right? So you might be dealing with a sudden kind of erratic shifts, a bit of a turbulence in your day-to-day job, even health routines or health department, while simultaneously trying to manage your lack of boundaries, for example, in your private home. So there could be miscommunication, vague expectations in your domestic setup at workplace, and that could be pulling your focus away from your daily productivity, from your health. So you can put on weight, for example, so let's watch out. But it feels like that you can get tired a little bit. And you have to realize you must establish really rock solid boundaries at home, at work as well. So your daily work capacity doesn't kind of like take a hit, because it looks like it's going to become quite a busy period of time for you, Capricorn rising. But I don't think it's a shock, because Capricorn is usually pretty busy, right? Let's move on to Aquarius rising sign. If someone can pop it into the chat box, 102 53. 102 53. So Aquarius rising. Well, this basket configuration lands directly across your primary identity axis. So Pluto is in your first house, Jupiter triggering this basket configuration from your seventh house. So you go through this personal transformation, which is affecting your one-on-one relationships. It feels like that it's an identity rewrite, and the people you partner with are kind of like acting as an immediate catalyst in it. So people do something to you that makes you make changes in your life, for the better or for worse, of course. I mean, imagine that I get together with an alcohol addict and then I'm gonna get dragged into alcohol problems as well. Or you ready to draw a line and say that I'm not going to allow these people anymore to take advantage of me, so I'm going to be stepping into this personal power. It could really talk to you about collaborating with visionary people, clients. You're working on increasing the number of clients. You're getting in contact with business associates. You would be able to meet people who bring enthusiasm to the table, kind of nagging you, pushing you a little bit to make changes in your life. And therefore, you might decide, okay, I'm going to launch something creative and unconventional of an artistic project, something that you might be very passionate about. Why? Because Uranus is in your fifth house. And then a genius idea can hit you about a creative product. And so there's a partner here, and it's not necessarily a romantic partner, okay? But there's a partner who acts kind of like a fuel for this personal creativity. And maybe it's good to be combining forces and producing something innovative together with someone. And kind of like that becomes a highly expressive body of work that can catch rapid fire, and therefore it can increase your finances, it can bring you more joy, visibility, it can bring freedom into your life. Now, this could be a contractual agreement as well. Maybe with Jupiter in the seventh and Pluto in your first, maybe you have been playing a little bit small and then you have been hiding a little bit. And then it's very much about walking into these one-on-one negotiations or a meeting room, client meetings, professional partnerships, and then they are starting to back your self-worth. They are kind of like telling you that you need to be in the spotlight even more. So it's an influential partner, a high-tier client who can step forward, I don't know, to contract you, to be in certain type of partnership with you. And then because you claim your own personal power, you completely transform the dynamics of that relationship, secure an agreement where you hold equal. You shouldn't be allowing others to kind of over dominate you. That's the bottom line. However, every configuration has got negative meanings as well. And with that opposition, it feels like because you take this massive step to claim your personal autonomy, you are stepping into this new identity. So therefore, you have to be setting very strict personal boundaries as well. And that could be challenged, for example, by a key partner, a spouse, a major business associate, and so forth. And then certain type of fears or power dynamics comes to light. So the person that I am with, are they supporting this powerful, transformed version of who I am becoming? Or are they trying to keep me tied to this older, kind of manageable version of myself? So that's where the confrontation could be coming from. I mean, with Uranus in the fifth and the Neptune in your third house, this could be also that you have been putting or pouring a lot of energy into a creative venture or something that you are super passionate about. And it could lead to certain type of misunderstandings with your child, with your siblings, in your local community. You can get a little bit unorganized with your scheduling. You can get into foggy contracts as well, or certain type of frustrating disruptions in your creative life, in your romantic life, and so forth. So it's kind of like you need to make sure that your creative ideas are not getting lost in translation. It's kind of like not getting stolen from you as well. And last but not least, let's do Pisces rising sign. And that would start 108:17. If someone can drop it in the chat box. 108:17. So for Pisces rising sign, that's me as well. Obviously, our traditional ruler is Jupiter, and Jupiter is running through the sixth house of daily work, health, systems, because Neptune sits right in, because Neptune is kind of like the modern ruler of your chart. So, sorry, the modern ruler of your chart, yes. That could be also very important in your second house. So, why Uranus is going through your fourth, right? So it really feels like that there is a spiritual rebirth. There is kind of like these intuitive hits of how you would like to change how you would like to change the way of earning. Maybe you are ready to put extra, like you are ready to give birth to a creative vision and to generate income in a different way. Um, somehow there is this creative, intuitive monetization engine happening here. So something deeply creative, visionary, maybe a spiritual offer, and that could be building for you an efficient daily workflow. For example, this is a fire trine. So fire is all about actions. So it's an abstract talent that becomes a practical daily work for you. So it's turning an intuitive gift, a creative vision, into a tangible, lucrative kind of like daily service, which can generate you more income. That's the bottom line. Now, with Uranus in your fourth and Neptune in your second, this could indicate that I'm going to set up a, I don't know, high-tech studio. I'm going to, excuse me, work remotely. I'm going to experience, or I'm going to be selling, for example, a property of mine. I gave the example yesterday as well. I have to share this example with you because I told you guys that I have been trying to sell one of my apartments and one of my villa as well. And I'm looking for like unconventional ways of doing that. So I said that yesterday to you, right? And last night I came up with the idea, what if I do leasehold? So we advertised the leasehold, and already I got an offer today. So that's how you can use Uranus in the fourth house. I'm still contemplating whether I'm going to accept the offer because they don't want to give me what I want. But it's not that far off, so I might go with it. But it's a 10-year leasehold, and then they use my villa for 10 years, and then after I would get it back. Basically, that's what leasehold is, right? So this is the way how you can really work with Uranus in the fourth house, that let's find unconventional ways of selling the property, right? Unconventional ways of healing family dynamics as well, because Uranus wants you to have this breakthrough in your family, okay? Or even in your work as well, because this is about, the physical environment provides that exact atmosphere that you need to build a brand new financial stream in your life. So it's a sudden breakthrough or upgrade in your living space. Doing a bit of a feng shui, for example, that could be boosting your finances and so forth, especially if you believe in those type of stuff. But it feels like this is a high-tech freedom in your home environment. This is a financial independence that you are working on. Every configuration has got, unfortunately, challenging manifestations as well. So one of them could be a daily burnout, another one could be financial vagueness. So because we've got Jupiter and Pluto opposition, it's like you're trying to keep up with this demanding work schedule. You're trying to, I don't know, get healthier as well. You're trying to manage your client obligations, maintaining your physical habits, I don't know, walking your dogs and all those type of stuff, while you have got this deep subconscious anxiety, or you are unable to rest. So therefore, you can run into physical or psychological fatigue. So if you don't keep, for example, a strict financial record or precise boundaries around your earning capacity, right, which is Neptune in the second house, can become very slippery, then your daily work demands can swallow your energy without giving you the physical compensation you deserve. That's why it's about learning to create boundaries, for example, financially. Yes, this could indicate certain type of income volatility as well. So maybe your personal income fluctuates, and then you try to pursue this idealistic kind of goal, financial goal, while your living situation is all over the place, or family dynamics, real estate issues could be popping up, which is forcing you to have an erratic shift, for example, in your home environment. So sudden move, suddenly having to leave the country, and so forth, which might be costing you even further money or further amount of, like, bringing you additional expenditure. So guys, this is the 12 sign for you. Like I said, I'm just going to be breaking this down very briefly. Of course, you really have to look at, do you have a natal planet on that 3, 4, or 5 degree of these signs? Do you have a progress planet there? Do you have a solar return planet there? Do you have a solar arc planet there, for example? Even you can be looking at if you are in any of these profected houses, for example, because that transit is always highlighted. For example, if I'm in a second house profected year, oh wow, Neptune is transiting that. So that becomes even more important. Okay, so there is a lot more to it. If you don't know how to do these type of things, then you can book a reading with me, because maybe this is going to be the greatest investments. Remember, this energy is going to be lasting for 4 years. So you are at the beginning of it. So if you have got a dream, it's time to manifest that dream, but we have to be super realistic about it. So thank you very much for being here. Someone has got Venus retrograde in Scorpio. Well, we're going to have Venus retrograde in Scorpio this year. So that's surely super important for you, monster. I use whole sign house system, yes. I'm just reading through your comments. Side observation, you're looking resplendent and healthy by skin and hair. Your hair is on point, Victor. Thank you very much. I'm relatively on the healthier side, yes. Cancer rising, you have to leave your boring job. Virgo rising here. Did I miss my reading? I'm not too sure. I guess you haven't yet. I need hope. Gemini rising spot on. Good. Thank you for being here, guys. And I will see you in a few days in my next video. I think it's going to be actually in 2 days, and we are going to be looking at the nodes in for all rising sign. So take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.